Because me and him we gonna have fun with this dude right here, man. Like, okay, so we're back again. This is the DJ Slugo, the co-signed album, and now this one, I know I said a lot of people were my closest friends, and real close to me, but this guy is like my brother. Like, I'm gonna let him introduce himself, but I'm gonna give y'all a little slight story on this guy. Like when we first met, you know, and a lot of people think like business-wise, I'm one of the guys that do the business side of it, but this guy's like deep with it, you know. Me and his conversations go from a 5-minute conversation to 5 hours, and we're strictly talking about the business of music and, you know, different ways, you know, to teach our brothers the business of music. Like, talk to this about this, and then, you know, me and I'm not gonna say his name yet. So me and him always be back and forth on the phone about him calling me saying, you need this situation. No, you need to do this. And I'm stubborn. I'm a little stubborn. Like, he's actually broke me out of that stubbornness. Like, no, you know, when I hear him say, no, Slug, you need to do this, man. Like, you need to do this. Don't think about this part of it. Don't think about that part of it. And I learned, you know, later on in my career that a lot of the things he was telling me, it's like everything doesn't have to have a dollar sign to it. It's, you know, it could be stuff that's coming on later on down the line, you know, for you. The residuals can come later. And I'm learning that, like, you know, 15 years, stuff that we did 15 years ago is bouncing back now. Stuff you did 5 years ago that you did for basically for the free and wasn't thinking about the money then is bouncing back now. So I had to call my man DJ Skip in, you know. I would say his real name, but DJ Skip. I had to call Skip in, and you know, I couldn't do this project without, you know, having these guys on this project and having these guys on the camera, and y'all seeing who they are and what they've contributed, because a lot of them don't even know, like, you know, that I contributed to them, but they really contributed to me, you know, and my growth in this ghetto house music, you know. So DJ Skip, if people wanted to know what your contribution was to ghetto house music, you know, I know the Skip has went on to bigger and way better things. You know, he's the CEO of S&S Records, and everybody who knows S&S Records, Google it, and it'll be self-explanatory. But he stepped out of the ghetto house world and went into the dance, fist pumping. That's what I be calling it. But if people wanted to know what your contribution to ghetto house was then, what would you tell them?
Well, you know, I contributed quite a bit to ghetto house music. I think what I was trying to do was bring people closer to the block, but give them an opportunity to experience it in a different type of way, you know, without actually being there. I think I started to add different elements to ghetto house as far as the rapping and the chants, etc. and so forth. And I was more or less making it cool. I wasn't a street guy. I wasn't in the streets like that. So therefore I was given, you know, my personal experiences come from different angles and different aspects. And then ghetto house as a whole was more or less a culture. We all lived it. We come from urban communities off the south side, west side of Chicago, and it gave us, you know, an outlet. It allowed us to really more or less speak our truth to a wider audience of people and to the world. And when we were doing it, we didn't know that we were doing it with, you know, to have this type of an impact later on as time has went on. You know, we were doing it just to express ourselves, and really that's how we all connected. So my contribution was to more or less, what I feel I contributed to Ghetto House was the vision behind it and giving people a bigger picture, or getting them to see outside of just the neighborhood or just the block. You know, I wanted them to be able to tell their stories, you know, to the rest of the world and feel comfortable doing it, because there's so many people out here, you know, they try to hide who they are as individuals. And when Slugo called me and said, hey, I want you to be a part of this, regardless of the things that I'm doing now and these days, you know, I took the time out in order to come and be a part of it, because he's like, man, well, he's moved on to bigger and better things. Well, I'm always going to be that, you know. I'm always going to be a part of the genre of music just by the contributions that I put in. It's been a long time, you know, it's 20 years, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
So to be able to still be here now and I'm proud of this guy, because, you know, he's taking entrepreneurship to a whole nother level and deciding to do things on his own and to really create an impact and to put his foot and his staple in. And I think that that's dope, you know. So, you know, I contribute to just my end of being an individual and giving people vision to see, because sometimes people just didn't see past the block. I wanted them to see the big picture of things and say, you know what, it's possible to still be who I am and have some authenticity to that and be able to grow.
So if people wanted to know, like in the ghetto house world, okay, what record did Skip do? Like what record? Like if they went and searched the Dance Mania catalog, who is Skip? What record did Skip do that I'm saying, now that was a big record?
Well, I mean, Take It Off obviously was a record that everybody, you know.
You want to give us a little sample of it?
I mean, Take It Off is kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah, but I'm saying the chant, how it goes.
Take it off.
What?
The clothes, girl, the clothes. So,
Yeah,
I mean, with that being that, it turned out to be something that didn't just transcend to people in a neighborhood, but also the nightlife, you know, the strip clubs, or just women who wanted to express themselves in a different type of way. You know, then Let 'Em Hang was a whole nother record, and it was championed by, you know, the Slugos and the Dions and all these guys.
I forgot about that, right?
And when that dropped, because it was also kind of nursery rhymes and a chant, but it was still, it was real hardcore.
Raunchy.
And then Spit Game, obviously, you know, Dion, you know, flipped it and made it something special.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way, you know, people saw the coalition and they noticed that, okay, these guys are all connected and they're doing stuff together. And it's cool because they embrace me. You know, so the music that I had done wouldn't have been anything without the guys that was in the streets championing the music and really making it what it is, you know, what it turned out to be today.
Mm. So if people want to find Skip and still communicate with you, you know, where would they find you at?
Oh, they could find me easy, www.snschicago.com, samchicago.com. See the shirt, got the shirt.
Yeah, to get his advertisement.
Yeah, you know, I don't go nowhere without it.
Yes,
but
sir.
I mean, that's it. You know, you go to the website, or catch up with Slugo. You know how to find me. He got my bat phone.
Got his direct number. So this is the part, right, where we get Skip to do his. Let me make sure we get him an empty page. So right here we need the famous DJ Skip signature, and then print your name there.
Where? Right here at the top.
I need the DJ Skip that you're gonna write on somebody's shirt, that signature. Yeah. See how he doing it? Like I said, that's somebody that write checks. You got that flick of the wrist, the check, flick of the wrist, and then print your name there.
For what name?
DJ Skip. So I can know, because I wouldn't, you know, they wouldn't be able to know that that's Skip. Thank you, sir.
There you go.
Appreciate you. You got anything else you want to say to the people?
Nothing I want to say. Listen, guys, go out and support what DJ Slugo is doing. I think this is fantastic. When he gave me a telephone call and he told me that this was a labor of love of his and this was something that he wanted to embark on, I thought that was great, because we have to support each other. You know, we have to create a positive atmosphere. I'm a soul believer. I put a lot of positive energy out there. Positive thoughts always create a positive outcome. And I think when you can connect the dots with individuals and show your love and support for them, this gives them an opportunity in order to grow and, you know, pay it forward. If I don't leave here with anything else to say, you know, hopefully you use that part of the clip. Pay it forward. That's key, because we have to help each other grow, and then in return, when you get to your point of growth, you help somebody else grow. And that's what I'm about. Slugo will tell you that I've always been about that. You know, people call my phone, I'm there. You know, but in return, same thing I always say. Look, if I help you, I put you in a position, I give you these opportunities. First thing I always say, what is a slug? Help somebody else.
Yeah.
Help somebody else. And that's it, man. As long as we can continue to do that, then we'll always have a scene and a group of like-minded individuals. You know.
You heard it right there first. The DJ Slugo co-signed album, co-signed by my man DJ Skip, man. Salute y'all.
Peace.